last week was chapter 6, Unbridled Truth. This week is chapter 7, and it's titled Gangs, ? Proving you've got their backs. And, why do people join gangs? And typically, this all came from True Colors Brewing and an experiment they tried, and a lot of content that I pulled from that group. And people join gangs for safety. Typically, people that are in gangs come from unstable environments, and they are in need of a posse, per se, a gang, a group to support them. And I think that one of the things that everyone is searching for when they join a gang or when they're trying to find community, when they're trying to find their tribe, is they're looking for safety. And so much of my work in this chapter came from experiences I had before I entered Big B Coffee. I had one of the shortest stints in corporate America, which was 9 months long. But it was an extraordinarily unhealthy environment. And I'll just tell a quick story from May 10th of 1996. And I remember that date because I only worked there for 9 months. So I know what month it was, and it was my mom's birthday. And it was a Friday. And I was an entry-level salesperson in the organization. I got a call from my boss's boss, which was fairly intimidating in and of itself. And he was enthusiastic and fired up and wanted to present me the opportunity that they had a conference in Minneapolis, and they had a booth at this conference, and someone that was supposed to go attend and cover the shifts on the booth wasn't going to be able to make it. And he called me and he presented that opportunity to me to join them, but it wasn't really an opportunity. He was requesting and demanding that I go on, and I booked a flight that afternoon, and I get to Minneapolis as quickly as I could. And I remember telling him I couldn't go, right? I couldn't do it. And he came back with a fair amount of harshness to me. And I just explained to him it was my mom's birthday, and I bought tickets to take her to the opera on Saturday night, and there was no way in the world I was going to be out of town that weekend. And basically that was the beginning of the end of my tenure there. And he threatened me and told me that there would be a black mark on my record and so on and so forth. What I came out of that experience in that corporation was that I never wanted to be a part of something like that ever again the rest of my life. And so this chapter is about utilizing the support group mentality for safety. And I write about things like Alcoholics Anonymous. I write about YPO. I write about professional sports teams. And each one of those environments is about creating support and safety for the members of those groups. And I make a transition to why in the heck can't we do that inside of corporate America? What is stopping us from doing that inside of corporate America? Why can't you show up to work and be within an environment where people are supportive, where people are nurturing, where they're encouraging your growth, where they're providing you safety in your world? And the thing about that fearful environment is that all that does is create a need for survival, covering your ass, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the eyes of whoever that's supposed to be in order to protect your position so you don't, lose your job. And, I also talk in this chapter about how, in my opinion, America is a very, very lonely place. We don't have a lot of opportunities anymore anyway to connect meaningfully with people. And why can't we do that for each other? Why can't we do that inside of our teams, inside of the organizations that we work for? And one of the things that we're trying to create internally are, and I reference them as forums. And engaging forums and bringing people into forums. And what forums are meant to be is a group of your peers that are living somewhat the same life you are, at least professionally, and being able to really truly support each other in a confidential way, and really bringing value to each other day in and day out. And I've had experience both here internally in forums, and then also externally inside of YPO. And it's really a remarkable experience to engage with a group of people, a team of people that really only has one motivation collectively, and that's to support each member, right? To support each member in what they're pursuing, their own growth. And, they're meant to be both professionally and personally supporting you in your realms, the different realms that you're within. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, this idea of safety and how to create it, and this chapter is about creating it through these support groups, that at the end of the day, when we create an environment that's loving and supportive and nurturing, and that when you come in, you're supporting others in their growth, and you're getting support from the other members of your team, that we can leave work. And the concept is to leave work truly more invigorated than when you showed up. And we all have had those experiences where you had these grueling days, these long days, but at the end of the day, you feel good about it and you leave inspired. And well, why can't we create that so people go home and the first thing that they don't do is, grab a gummy or pour themselves a drink, right? That they go home and they roll around on the floor with their dog, or they and imagine the change. And this is one of the parts that gives me chills, is imagine the change around the dinner table at home and the conversations that are occurring when you're talking about what inspires you today, as opposed to being stressed out and checking your phone 8 times and checking email at dinner because you're waiting for a response from somebody. So to me, this concept of building support groups and teams that are supportive, loving, and nurturing, to me, that is where we need to be aspiring to, what we need to be trying to create. We are working at it here internally, and it's all in an effort to provide an environment that supports you in building a life that you love. And the workplace culture concept, I think sometimes we lose sight of it internally about what that is and what that's about. And I'll run through it linearly, and then I'll part. But the leading, and this reaches out there, but this is what inspires me, which is the leading cause of death in the United States is chronic disease. The leading cause of chronic disease is stress and anxiety. The leading cause of stress and anxiety is your workplace and finances. And so there's a very direct connection. By taking on and improving workplace culture, that we are also taking on the leading cause of death in the United States. And so if we can improve workplace culture, if we can be a model for that, and then begin to work with others to help their environments, imagine the impact we can have on the world. And that is that's what we're endeavoring to do here. So thank you.